So, Emma, what are we talking about today?
Our chatty little human, how we've tried to encourage them to talk, and maybe now how maybe they talk too much.
This episode is called First Words. Spiffing good day to you. Welcome, sleep-deprived parents, to the blanket fort here in the Crippin House. Sit and unwind with us for a while. We chat about parenting, make light of the ups and downs, and just share generally what's going on in our life. Hopefully it's either relatable or interesting, possibly, maybe.
Potentially funny.
If not, then maybe listen to something else. I don't know. Although you must finish this episode first. That's a requirement. If this is the first episode you're ever listening to, got to assume that those listening know nothing. No, you know nothing, Jon Snow. I feel like Game of Thrones references don't go down as well, like because the series ended so badly.
No, it's true. I wouldn't say that. Avoid it.
So yeah, I'm the husband, Elliot.
I'm the wife, Emma.
Hopefully you can tell from my voice, although when Lilly does impersonate your voice, for some reason it's like shrill like a little mouse.
Yes, it is, yes.
I don't know why. You don't really have a shrill little voice.
No, not particularly. I think I can go quite high when I'm excited, but I don't talk like that all the time.
No. I don't, does she what's the word?
Impersonate you.
Impersonate me? Does she?
Yes, she goes very low.
Does she? Like, I don't talk like this.
No, but she always goes, I'm Baba. She acts like like a big lumbering bear as well.
All that to say, like we're married, so that's pretty obvious. We have two daughters, Lily and Lola. If you get mixed up, so do we.
Yeah, it's our own fault. We called them similar names.
Yeah, one's almost 4 and one's almost 6 months. And we live in Harrogate in North Yorkshire. So welcome to the show. I don't know whether to include this or not, but we have had a little break, a bit longer than normal, because it's been Easter.
It has.
People have been busy. We've been busy. Lots of stuff going on. But yeah, we're picking back up now. So if you're listening...
hope you've all had a nice Easter.
Yeah, if you're listening in the future or don't listen chronologically or anything like that, then just disregard that.
You.
That doesn't matter at all. But yeah, good to be back. It's parenting achievement time. What does that mean, Emma?
It means we share something, normally sarcastically, that has gone very well / badly for us.
What level of parenting fail have you unlocked? I thought we could chat about things we've forgotten recently.
Ooh.
So particularly... recently, we're recording on a Monday, not that and this weekend we had a little day trip to Scarborough.
We did.
And one of the things we forgot was the breast pump.
We did, yeah.
No one's particular fault. It just no one paid attention.
Well, we didn't. It was a very last minute trip, so we didn't know we were gonna go.
We had illness going around the house.
Yeah.
We think illness. I mean, Lily was sick, so
we also don't know if it was just from overeating.
Who knows what it was, but yeah, it was all a bit chaotic.
Then I had to go around looking for a I didn't want to buy a new fancy one because I've got one of those.
And they can be quite expensive.
And it would, yeah.
Especially it's just like a backup.
Exactly. I wasn't going to drop like 60 quid on a breast pump. So then we had to go around looking for like a manual one. So we looked.
Because it's what do you do? Like you get there. It's like there's not a lot of options.
Some people could hand express. I can't.
I mean, we should clarify maybe you're not breastfeeding, so that's not an option.
So I couldn't just give Lola the boob.
Yeah.
Let's just say we're mixed feeding, but she doesn't she doesn't breastfeed properly anymore, so we have to use a breast pump. And I'm trying to slow down my supply, but not to that extent where I get ill. So going cold turkey wasn't an option.
Yeah. But anyway, we got another one.
We did.
From Sainsbury's.
We did.
Actually, well, it's from Argos, really.
It's from Argos in Sainsbury's, yeah.
That's the thing, you get the idea.
If you're not English, you'll have no clue what any of those things are. So.
Maybe it adds to our charm.
There was a shop within another shop where we got it.
Yeah, there you go. Well, on the note of kind of breast milk as well, we even now still have a load of frozen breast milk in the freezer, which has kind of been a fail because you pumped it all and froze it all very diligently. Back when your supply wasn't great, we got it all there ready. But this was before we knew Lola had a milk protein allergy.
Cow's milk protein allergy.
I got the words gumbled.
Don't you
This is a
worry.
good episode to talk about speech, isn't it?
It is.
I'm
We'll
the
notice
top
Elliot's
of the
not
ladder
great.
for speech.
Yeah.
Right, what was I saying?
Cow's milk protein allergy.
That's what I was saying. There we go.
So it meant at the time
yeah.
I was eating cheese and yogurts and things with that in. So none of that, unless she gets over her allergy, can go to her.
It's all useless.
Yep.
It's sat there. We can't use it.
It sat there in
Just
hope.
left, forgotten
But
about.
then they said, oh, you shouldn't really keep it more than 6 months. And
Oh,
I'm like,
right.
Well,
It's getting close to
some of
that.
it's getting close. So unless in the next few weeks you suddenly can drink cow's milk, it's...
Yeah, we're just going to have to throw that precious, precious stuff away.
Yeah. I'll sell it to a bodybuilder.
Last little forgotten about thing I wanted to share was recently, both kids have been going through growth spurts.
Yeah.
But of course, with Lola being our second child, we had stored away lots of clothes from our firstborn. We diligently kept a lot of them, the ones that were still in good condition. And we're like, we'll keep all this ready for our second child. So we've got big boxes up in the loft of all this stuff. Of course, what happens is I go up, I look through, and I find loads of clothes that we kept that are now already too small.
Yeah.
I forgot to get them down, and it's now too late. We kept them for like 3 years. They've been sat in our loft, taking up space, and I missed it for like a month. And now she can't fit any of it.
In your defence, though, a lot of it's not the right season. So it's not that useful anyway, a lot of it.
But it is what it is.
It is.
It is parenting. That's what it is.
And we're just grateful we have her.
Yeah. Right then, what am I going to say? Keep fighting on trying to get a doctor's appointment for your kids, and let's jump into our conversation today, all about speech development.
Yeah.
From kind of first words through to the chatty little, almost 4-year-old we have now.
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of applicable. We've already said I'm very poor at this. I can barely speak the English.
You can barely put sentences
My
together.
words I use are the wrongs all the time. But over there we have our semi-expert. Not in kids development, but
so
you are a linguist.
I'm a linguist, yeah. So I speak multiple languages, and that is my job. Yeah.
What languages do you speak, Emma?
I speak French, Spanish, and Italian.
Thank you. Thank you for telling our little audience.
And English, obviously, because that's what I'm speaking to now.
Yes. I don't know if that's going to factor into any of our conversation or not, but
I think it helped inform me how to teach someone languages, maybe.
Yeah.
Although I'll say I think the way we teach language in this country is completely wrong. But
Okay, well, we'll get on to that.
Topic for a separate day.
Well, we'll get onto some of that maybe nearer the end of the episode when we're into like preschool stuff.
True.
But we'll start, as is the custom, from the beginning.
Yep.
Around first words. Now, do you have any notes or record of when you think Lily's first words were? I know typically, like, the general trend is, you begin with kind of babbling, kind of 9 to 12 months-ish with kind of first words.
I know her first word was Baba, because it was your name.
Yeah.
It was not Mama. Not that I'm bitter.
And we've explained before, but just quick recap. Baba being the Arabic word for dada.
Not because we're Arabic, because at the time Lily's cousins were over and their daddy's Arabic, and she heard that they were calling their dad Baba, so she was like, clearly, my dad is also a Baba.
Yeah.
And now that is his name.
I feel like it's an interesting conversation as well about how the influence of other kids on language as well, and that happens through all the stages. But yeah, it was interesting. So early on, there was a big influence from others about what she said. I think just the kind of the letter B was
easier.
an easier word to
They are.
enunciate
Well, they say that's
than
why
D.
like B and D, like Baba or Dad is normally said before Mama, because M is a difficult one.
Yeah. I remember we always had that joke, which I think is very common, where at the very beginning you were desperate for her to say mama, mum, mammy, mummy.
Yes, yeah.
And anything. And she would, like, for ages, she would just go ba 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 ba.
Yeah. And I'd be like, M.
And then, of course, within several months, it completely switched. And what is she just all the time? Mummy, mama.
Mummy, Mama.
You're like, stop shouting my name.
And then I'm like, you have a father right there, sat right next to you.
Like every time, like, don't you remember back in the early days you were desperate for her to say your name?
Yeah.
And now it's all she'll shout around the house.
Don't mind the ability to say it. It's more that she requires my attention when there's another person there who's perfectly capable of completing whatever task she needs. I can't remember what age she started talking at, really, though.
It's all a kind of progression, isn't it, on a spectrum?
I remember it was quite early because then I expected some of our friends, when they had kids, their kids to talk earlier. And then I kind of was mildly insulting because I was going, what can they say? And they'd go, nothing. And I go, oh.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to be mean. Because we, when you have one child, you assume everybody follows the stage your child follows.
Definitely.
Should we try and go through like how we tried to help her with language?
So very early on, I think mostly is it just like kind of singing and reading?
Yeah, we did a lot of singing and reading, and a lot of books, because I find books are really good just throughout any age at this point, just to point and go, this is something, this is a horse, this is a... So like when Lily couldn't quite talk, but she could point even to help her understanding, be like, where's the horsey? And you'd point at the horsey and like, where's this? So it'd show like she identified words and what they were and things.
This is typically at the age then where they understand a fair bit but can't talk. And that's often when some people, and depending where you are, like will do some sign language, sign language. We didn't do that. We
did not. But the preschool, but she was at, nursery, but she calls it preschool now because she's a big girl.
Yeah.
She was at did, so she would come back and do signs and we wouldn't know what they meant.
We're like, she's doing some baby sign language to us. We don't know what she's saying.
So we like slowly learnt more and things like what the sign language was because she'd do it enough.
Yeah. And we've got nothing against baby sign language.
Oh, no,
it's just
like...
we
didn't have the time to do it, to be honest.
You sometimes pick and choose what things you want to focus on as parents, what you can feasibly manage to do. At this age, we were also doing like early potty training as well. And just sign language is one of those things that we just decided...
Had to go by the wayside,
we didn't have capacity for.
I was going to say, and when she was really little, she would babble at you and we would just babble back. So like it's really good
I really love that
to just
phase.
Repeat the noises back to them.
Yeah.
Because it helps them like identify, like at the minute, Lola.
Yeah, well, Lola's getting towards this phase, isn't she?
She is, but I think she thinks she's talking.
Yeah.
So when she goes, she likes blowing raspberries.
Yeah.
But you do that back and she keeps doing it, which is great. But it means then when we take her anywhere, she does it to everyone we see.
You're right. I think she thinks that's how she's communicating.
That's how she communicates, because she can make a noise and people make it back and she's communicating.
Yeah. Well, it is in a way, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It just amuses her. She's like, I'm talking.
That's it. Yeah. On the topic of like singing and nursery rhymes, I'm very poor at this. I know so few nursery rhymes.
But the thing is, I've sang a lot of them a lot of times.
Yeah.
I feel like you should pick them up.
Well, I know some of them.
Like,
I know the ones you sing.
Do you?
I'm not... Okay, here it is. I'm not like an oral learner. So like things that I hear, because I cannot retain.
I wanted to point out that Lily, some of the songs she hasn't heard before, because I've only learned them since Lola was born. Like Lola's favourite song is I'm Being Eaten by a Boa Constrictor, which sounds a bit dark.
Well, I was going to bring this up. A lot of these nursery rhymes got like some pretty grim
but
stories.
But it's good because it like teaches you body parts. Like it goes, I'm
whilst you're being eaten by a snake.
Boa constrictor, boa
At least you're not like a baby in a cot that's falling out the top of a tree.
That's true, yeah. And then it's like, oh no, he's got my toe. And Lola finds it very funny. Lily now knows all the words off by heart. Does Baba know the words?
Well, I've learned My Bonnie Lies Over the Ocean.
You haven't. Oh. You sing it wrong.
Oh, no, dear. Oh, dear. It's going downhill. Don't listen to her. She's making it up.
Because you always go, the sea. You don't do the full, My Bonnie Lies Over the Ocean, My Bonnie Lies Over the Sea. my body lies over the ocean to bring back my body to me.
Oh, no, you're right. I don't do that
And then
bit.
you go, bring back.
No, I just skip that bit.
No, you just go, my body lies over the ocean.
Yeah.
My body lies over the sea. The sea. My body lies over the
Well, that's the
ocean.
only bit I can remember.
When you're singing it and you try to get Lola to sleep, I think Lola must think, this song's gone rather short compared to normal.
To be fair, at this age, really, it's the tone and the kind
It
of,
is.
the
It just,
hearing your voice
as
rather than the
someone
words.
listening, it annoys me.
Yeah. Oh dear. Anyway, getting back to actually encouraging them to speak. Reading and singing. I suppose on that note, we did with Lily. We've not done as much with Lola yet, but we did a lot of trips to the library where they have those like singing and reading little groups for babies.
I'm hoping to go tomorrow because Mimi and Papa are going to look after Lily tomorrow. So the hope is that we will manage to get to the library. But yeah, that was good. So it's a good thing. Look at your local library. I always do singing little and story time, which is what Lily used to love.
Yeah. And then I suppose as time progresses, I was thinking we should really just touch on the fact that, it can be a time when parents get a bit like worried. I suppose like a lot of developmental stuff. You often compare yourself to others and then you're like, oh, they're not talking yet. They've not said a word. We do have 2 girls.
Yep.
So like our girls are very chatty. They kind of do talk very well. They picked up words quite early.
Yes, yeah. And I think it definitely, I know people will argue, but it definitely seems to be a girl-boy split. Because most of the boys we know are slower to pick up speech. Most of the girls are quicker.
Of course, it's a generalisation and it's never going to account for everyone, but it is like a trend that generally a stereotype.
I have a lot of friends who are boy mums who get really worried because they would come and Lily would be chatting away and their boy wouldn't be.
Yeah.
And I'd have to go like,
at this age, where we are in the story, 10, 11 months, where they're maybe not actually saying words, but they're like, our girls will be babbling away, like you say, they think they're talking, they're trying to communicate, whereas some of the boys we know definitely would just sit and play and would make no effort to communicate.
Yeah, true, yeah.
Which is perfectly normal.
Yeah.
Like, I know for me, I didn't really do a lot of that stuff till I was 2. And do you want to talk, I thought you could talk about you as well, because you had, did you have speech therapy?
I did have speech therapy, but we had a rather unique situation where, if people don't know, I'm a multi-burst, I'm a quadruplet. And there was a period of time we refused to speak English. We'd only speak whatever made-up language we'd acquired. It was like almost because it was baby babble, but we'd learn what each other was saying. And we were becoming toddlers. And Mum was like, they're not talking.
You were able to communicate in this babble language
they are talking,
to
but
each other.
not to me.
And not in English.
No. And she said we'd find it,
it must be so disconcerting.
Well, she said it was like, it was weird that we would find it odd she couldn't understand us. Because obviously to us, 3 other children understand me perfectly well what I want.
Yeah.
And we'd just look at her like she was bizarre. And then she said we'd say something and we'd all giggle hysterically like it was really funny. And she said it was like, I don't know what that is. So, yeah. So we were all actually quite delayed in our normal English speech. And we went to like speech therapy and stuff to try and get us on the thing.
Yeah. And certainly other members of the family and people we know have been to speech therapy as well. There shouldn't really be any stigma with that.
Interesting. Most people I knew at university who studied languages with me, nearly all of us had been to speech therapy.
Oh, how fascinating.
So I wonder if it's something like, I don't know, speech therapy helped us learn languages later, or maybe like it might be a sign your child maybe is going to be into languages.
Maybe.
Like, I don't know what it is, but I thought it was really interesting. Like when somebody said it, most of us in the class had all been speech therapy, and I was like, oh, interesting.
But yeah, just like in those early days particularly, don't panic if your kid's not, trying to communicate yet. Don't panic. Like, you don't come across people really in life, do you, that have never learnt to talk?
Yes.
So
just like, I'm sorry, this didn't.
People develop at different stages, so they'll get there eventually.
Yeah. And I'd say like there's good hints, just keep talking to them and over explain. So my friend Rachel, she's a teacher. She teaches like English as a foreign language.
Well, you've got a lot of linguist friends, don't you?
And she was always talking about how there was like a child who was like hard of hearing, and the mum would just over explain everything, just everything in daily life. She'd be like, oh, there's a car, we're waiting at the lights, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I find I automatically kind of did that with Lily anyway.
We did that a lot.
We chat away, just going like, oh, this is what we're going to do. And look, there's a cat. And this is what the cat's doing. And like, I still say you need to leave space for responses, but when they can't really talk, I think it's just helpful for them to hear you talking and talk about objects and things, just for them to get used to it.
This was one of the things you often used to moan to me about as well, was that transition from when they're going from that kind of baby babble phase into this kind of 1-year-old phase where you need to actually start talking to them. And so I
started like picking up on words and repeating them, and Elliot would still be just babbling away.
So I'd still be mimicking her nonsense words back to her because it is so cute. It's so cute. And they make me
go babbly. We're at the next stage now. We just need to talk like normal.
And you'd be like, Elliot, you're making silly noises again. You've got to use words and talk to her. And I'm like, oh, I forgot. I forgot. Cool. Does that take us on to then maybe, 1.5-ish heading into learning some new words? I wonder, I can't really remember. Can you remember? But I feel like one of the words kids often learn fairly early on is no.
True. Yeah.
It's like, I feel like that's like a milestone where like suddenly they're like talking back to you. They're like, nope. Yeah. I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Lily's very funny at the minute. She always goes, no, thank you.
Yeah.
In quite a posh voice. And I think she thinks, well, I'm being polite. I'm saying thank you. They can't be annoyed at it.
Yeah.
And I'm often like, the thank you doesn't negate the fact that it wasn't really a choice was what I was giving you. I was giving you an instruction.
It'd be helpful, really, if our English word for no was like a bit more complicated, so they couldn't pick up on it so early on.
Like a longer word.
Because it's just such a simple word to say, and they can grasp its meaning so easily. They're like, oh, I can say this, and I don't have to do it.
Yeah. But they can also just shake their head. Like, toddlers are very good at expressing they don't want to do something.
It's true. Like, this episode could expand into all sorts of communication, couldn't it? I mean, we're particularly focused on speech, but like communication covers so much, like such a broader range of stuff. Oh, it does,
like body language and everything.
Yeah. I mean, and we learned a lot of that quite early. If you go and listen to our episode on like early potty training, where we did elimination communication, because that's all about that, really picking up on like non-verbal cues, that how they're communicating. So interesting stuff. One of the little notes I've got down here just to touch on it, I think probably comes at about this point, is like when they have like got their own words for things.
Oh, yeah.
So like they are using words and they're communicating with us about something, but like it's not a word that everyone else uses. So for us, for instance, we always used to call nap time having a dodo.
Dodo, yeah. And people wouldn't know what that was.
Well, of course, that's not really a common phrase, is it?
But also, Lily would say it to other children like dodo. Yeah. Like they need a dodo.
Yeah. Do you want a dodo now? Are you tired? Do you need a dodo?
And it's like we saw Lily's little cousin, Sophie, and she's just about to turn 2. And she goes doo-doo, and that's Bluey because it's doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
And Kirsty was really
impressed.
Once
you piece together the links, isn't it? It's like fun, isn't it? But
Kirsty was impressed because she was going, I want to watch doo-doo. And I sat there like, doo-doo.
Yeah.
And I went, Bluey? And Kirsty's like, you got that? I said, well, I do watch a lot of it.
Yeah.
I said, but I was thinking, like, what on earth could doo-doo be? And I was like, oh, like the song doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
So this is what's been interesting, hasn't it? Meeting up with Sophie really recently is seeing right in that mid phase of that talking where like she can say words and like communicate, but it's all a little jumbled and like we can't understand it as well as Kirsty can.
Yeah, because as a parent you're in tune to the way they say things.
Yeah.
And if they listen to one of the past episodes, they say quite funny things. Like at one point, Lily was saying like, my sister Kirsty has a dog called Lexi.
Yeah.
And if you hear in the past episode, we talk about how she used to always call her Sexy.
Yeah.
And it'd be like Sexy Lexi is now the dog's name because Lily so often basically called the dog Sexy.
Yeah. Well, it's just that mispronunciation of a lot of words at this age, isn't it? Where like they're really trying.
Very funny.
Yeah, it can be very funny. Yeah. When it ends up being like a slightly rude word.
And bingo ended up as bimbo.
Yeah. It's Bluey and Bimbo.
It was like certain things like that we'd find very amusing.
Yeah. It's sometimes a bit like an alien language, isn't it? Listening to a little like toddler, the 2-year-old kind of babble away.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
It's like you both look at each other and like we've got no idea what she's saying.
On the flip side, that sense of like them getting so frustrated when they wanted to communicate something, they were saying something and you couldn't understand
Lily
what word they were trying to
got
say.
very frustrated.
Yeah.
And then she'd sit down and cry because she'd want you to understand the thing. Where it's so much easier nowadays because if she has pronounced it wrong, she's got so much more vocab that she can describe it.
Yeah.
So she doesn't get annoyed because she thinks, oh, how can I describe what it is? And then she'll describe it and you go, oh, whatever the thing is, we've worked out what it is.
Yeah. Oh, I just remember so many times being sat there and like repeating the word back to her and she gets so annoyed and I'd be like, I really don't.
No,
and you'd like run through like 10 different words.
And
like,
then you'd get the other parent, you'd ring them up going, now what is this?
Can you interpret for me, please?
And you'd really hope that they'd come across it before and go, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And if they went no, you're like, oh, no.
Ah, the joys. Yeah, if you're going through that phase at the moment,
Yeah,
like
it's
it's
tough.
ups and downs, isn't it? It's
like it's really fun.
full of
because they're
joy,
learning
but
to talk,
equally
but it's also
challenge.
Difficult.
A few other things I think probably happen around 2, but maybe you can correct me if you think my timescale's slightly off. I was thinking it's kind of the age where you start spelling stuff out because they recognise words. Like, for instance, like if we're trying to communicate with each other and say, there's an ice cream van over there. But, you know, if we say the word, the kid's going to, like, latch onto that. So, yeah, a lot of spelling words out.
We do struggle with this.
We do struggle. Again, it's me. Why is it always me?
But this just
I do have an excuse.
He is dyslexic.
I am dyslexic.
So
my spelling is very poor. So this goes both ways. Where Emma's trying to say something to me and spell it out, and I'm sat there for literally like 5 minutes, like going through the letters.
He's got to think about it really hard.
And I'm like, I've got it. Got it. It took me a while. Or the other way, I'm trying to spell it back to you, and I can't spell it.
So I look at him like, no idea what that thing is he's trying to talk about. No clue.
I clarify, ice cream, not a problem word.
No, not
but other examples of words exist where it has proved a challenge.
I can't remember one right now, but I remember you spelled it to me and I looked at you and I actually understood what it was. And afterwards went, that's not how you spell that word. But I've got it.
Yeah.
Or we like start talking in code. So like for ages you couldn't say granddad because at that point they have no concept of time.
So I think if you say a word,
granddad,
that thing's going to be there now.
He's going to be here in a second.
Yeah.
So we started calling him the G-man.
Yeah. So, I think we've mentioned this on a parenting achievement thing in the past before again. Sometimes G-man or sometimes like Big G.
Yeah, Big G.
Which again, you know, like we're in church circles, like in religious context when you're going around in a church building talking about Big G and you're talking about granddad. It was quite funny.
Yeah. There's little things like that where we either use different words or you try and spell it because they have too much understanding at that point where it's dangerous. That
feeds into my next point where I feel like it's this age where you suddenly become very hyper aware of all the external words going on that could have so for example, you know, like swearing and things or like just being sensitive to what's being said around them. Like not necessarily by us, but like in music or podcasts. I was going to say
a lot of it's music that I listen to and I was like listening to some last night. Luckily, obviously, Lola doesn't matter much right
too
now.
young at the moment.
But I was like, I really need to start because I've just liked them all, and I just have a liked list on Spotify I put on, and I was like, I'm gonna have to start go through and being like, any with swear words, I'm just gonna have to put in like a private list for when we're not with the kids.
Yeah.
Because Lily also asks about a lot of words now.
Yeah.
She has that interest. So if we come across a word, she goes, "What is it?" And I have to kind of describe its meaning. Which I also find I often do to Lily the other way around. So, like, if we come up with, like, I came across the word clamber, you know, in the Rapunzel book.
Yeah. I do know. Given I'm here, it's the audience you need to explain it to.
So we have a book about Rapunzel, and they clamber up the tower. So I was going, what, do you know the word clamber? And she went, yes. And I was like, what does it mean? And she had a big think about it and then was like, it's to do with a ladder. And I went, you're right, yeah. You like clamber up a ladder. Very good, yeah. And I was like, it's kind of like climbing. And she goes, oh, okay. So now I do the opposite thing where I test her knowledge sometimes because I think, she might not know this word in context. So I'll ask her if she knows what it means. Problem is, Lily will always say she knows what it means.
Yeah. We're getting ahead of ourselves a
yeah,
bit into
true.
like the older age group. We'll come back to some of that. But yeah, it is funny, isn't it? Sometimes she'll know two variations of a word, but not realise that they mean the same thing.
Yes.
But yeah, English language is so...
It's a tough one.
Yeah, I feel like I should have an excuse for that because it's just such a weird language.
It is a weird language.
Like, yeah, it's not
It's
surprising.
because we've
kids...
had so many languages mixed. We have
Yeah.
very odd rules about things.
Like, and trying to remember, for example, with, like 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds that not to, like, I don't know, like you want to teach them new words and vary up your vocabulary. But equally, sometimes I forget that she knows a certain word, or like at that point in time she knew a certain word, and I would then use a variation of a different synonym, and I'd be like, why is she not understanding me? Why is she not understanding what I mean? She knows what this is. And I was like, it's because she's familiar with like the other synonym for it, not the one I'm using. And I was like, I'm sorry, Lily, I forgot. Yeah, this word means the same thing. That's why you're confused. Don't Wake the Baby is brought to you in partnership with the Kairos Movement, which is a project of the Methodist Church, who have also given us money to do the podcast.
Hooray!
What do we need to say, Emma?
I don't know. This isn't my forte.
Why do you do this podcast, Emma?
Because I enjoy it. Because it's fun. Because I want to connect with other people.
Yeah, that's it. And we're all about trying to build some community with parents. If you've got babies or toddlers, wherever you are, really, you can connect in with us. And if you don't have a village to support you in your parenting,
we are that village.
Hopefully, maybe. I don't know. That's the general idea. We can offer mutual support. We don't know most stuff.
Basically, if you want to help each other muddle through, we are the kings and queens of muddling through.
To that end, it would be great to hear from you if you're listening to this. Don't just listen along, but do get involved with the community and engage with us. If you have any relatable stories, do get in touch and let us know. We'd love to share them on the podcast. Our usual plea to, send us things, get involved in the conversation. And if any of this is relatable, or if we just think we're weird, just tell us. That'd be great. You can chat or message or comment or do any of those things on our social media platforms. Find all those links and things in the description or the show notes. Do you think, I'm trying to remember, like, I feel like it's probably a pretty big milestone, but is it around this point that, like, they can actually, they're beginning to string sentences together? It's so lovely then when they can kind of, like, say little things to you, like the first time they're able to express like I love you or something back to you.
And I think also express it and mean it's different.
Yeah, like they're not mimicking it, but they're actually...
She was smaller than that when she could say I love you, like I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't know if she knew what it meant. She just knew we said it for her into bed. Whereas now when she says it, you're like, oh, she knows. Like she has a full understanding of what love is, and it's nice that she says it. Because it actually means something. Not that it doesn't, but it doesn't really mean much before then. Because they don't know.
Yeah. And this is where we're kind of heading into 3-year-olds, where we transitioned into having like a chatty little girl. And I know, again, it will probably be different maybe if you have boys and I don't know. But like for us, our experience here is that, like at this point, could barely shut her up.
Yeah. So my sister said it's like a crazy parrot. Like they just parrot on all the time and they repeat things you say. And But it's cute. Even now Lily repeats things I say. Like you realize how much language she just copies of what I'm saying most of the time.
Like often not even mimicking it back to you, but the fact sometimes if she's playing a game by herself and you'll like see her repeat your expressions in, because like for Lily as a little girl, she'll often play games of like putting her dolls to bed or like just doing stuff with her little dolls and stuff like that. And
Which
she'll
she likes playing mummy.
Or like at that age she used to love like discipline, so she used to love telling her dolls off, being like, you've been naughty.
But then often I was like, we were not that we didn't discipline her very much.
I know.
Often she was a very strict parent.
This is what was so funny, because like she'd sometimes repeat our expressions, which was funny, but then she'd be like so much stricter than us.
Yeah. I remember I was quite worried at one point about having another child because she was so strict with our baby. She'd be going, Dodo, now.
Yes. You dodo.
And I'd be like, we do a whole bedroom time, and I'm very soft. I sit with you.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, she is going to be a strict older sister. Look, she has mellowed since then.
Yeah. So I feel like here now, like thinking about, again, the educational side of how do you help develop language. Again, you can probably talk more about this, but like we've transitioned from the kind of the singing and the reading, although of course reading continues all the way through.
Well, yeah, I'm a very big advocate. You should always read to your children.
But like a lot of the ways we were like at this point developing language is like in games.
Yeah.
And like doing a lot of stuff like that and just chatting with each other.
And we have a really good thing that I've started doing. Well, I say I've started doing. We've done it for about 6 months at least. Where I always do, what is your favourite thing today? To ask the question. And then they can really think about it and tell you like, what is your favourite thing? Yeah. And it's also nice because it's often something you really wouldn't expect. So it's nice to know what her favourite thing actually was. And
like book time, you know, at bedtime transitioned from just reading a book to like she begin to want to like tell stories and like make up stories.
Yeah. Often we have the option now, we do 3 books, or I do, what means me, because I'm a big softie, I then do 2 books and then we make up a story. I'm sure Elliot does it a bit quicker because she's not as fussed.
They've got a few, like, I was looking back through like my videos of things, because it's always that thing where you want to try and catch them talking because it's so cute.
Yeah.
Like, I'm always like with my phone, and it's that typical thing. Always happens. I get my phone out and she immediately shuts up or changes subject or like just like leaves the room, and I'm like, you were being so cute chatting away. I wanted to video it. I wanted to capture it. And I've got so few instances of these hilarious like little stories, but I have got a couple. I've got a couple of little recorded made up stories and conversations I wondered about. Now this is, we'll see if I cut this out later, but I might try and insert these in when I'm editing, put a few of them into the episode.
Yes,
what do you reckon?
That's a fun idea, yeah.
Like for us they're very fun. I've no idea if they're fun for other people to hear,
I think
or if
she
it's
says
just
quite funny things,
just self-indulgent
generally.
But you know, we can be self-indulgent. It's our podcast,
we can
so
do what we like.
Skip ahead if you don't like this. I thought the 2 I'd share, I've got one where she's telling us at dinner time a story about a frog.
Oh yes.
Do you remember this one? It was about...
That was from quite a long time ago.
Well, yeah. That's what I mean. Like, that's where it comes in at this point, really, in the conversation.
True, yes.
You know, I think
what age are we talking about this point?
I think
like
she must have been about 3.
She must have been 3, yeah.
About 3.
Well, I mean, she's 3 now, but meaning like early 3,
well, yeah, not like 4 in a few weeks. So, you know, there's like, as always, there's huge, the development between when you've just turned an age. I always think it's, sorry, I'm on a tangent now, but when you have that age thing, I'm always like, you know, you say, my child's 2. Well, if they've just turned 2 and they're almost about 3, that gap is so like big. Or the same with 3, the same with 4.
Well, I always do 2.
What do you say?
2.5. Then I go almost 3.
Almost 3.
Because I think to other parents it could worry them.
Yeah.
If you're like, oh yeah, my kid's 2. Oh wow, your kid's massive for 2.
Because I don't know what to say at the moment. Because I pretty much nearly always say she's almost 4.
But sometimes I just lie, tell people she's 4. Because she almost is.
Because I feel bad saying she's 3. Because I'm like, well, she's like clearly, developmentally, she's not a like just turned 3-year-old.
Yeah.
She's like she's just about to start school.
Yeah.
But you know, like, But anyway, so there's a little story about a frog jumping on a bouncy castle, I think it is.
Yes,
Yeah, and you were asking her about what's going on with this frog.
Yeah, and what colour things were.
Yeah, the frog.
The frog, what colour dress did the frog wear?
Elsa dress.
Oh, an Elsa dress!
Red.
And what did the reindeers wear?
Red dress too.
They wore dresses too?
A pink one.
Oh, pink one. And what colour was the toy?
Green.
Oh, because it's a frog, obviously. Was there a bouncy castle?
Yeah.
Who liked the bouncy castle the best?
Frog.
Frog, because he likes jumping.
Frog too tiny.
Oh, he's too small to go in the bouncy castle.
A fall over.
Well, yeah, he would fall over. So who went on the bouncy castle? Did the reindeers go on it?
No, only too big.
Oh, they're too big. Who went on the bouncy castle? Was he very good? Did he do flips?
Flip.
And then we've also got a conversation with me that she had whilst cooking that I did manage to record.
Oh.
Bizarre conversation where she's telling me I'm not allowed to stir the beans because she was helping me cook.
Oh.
I'm not allowed to stir the beans because I'm too old and I'm not brave.
Oh, dear.
Who knows what this was about, but it was hilarious and I did manage to get it on camera.
Too old. This what I mean. She just says some funny things.
Just some hilarious things. Yeah. It's just...
I think often it's to justify what she wants to do.
Yeah, definitely.
So she's like, oh, I'll come up with a reason
Yeah.
why people can't do that.
Yeah. You stirring the beans? Can I stir them?
No, you're old. It is. I gotta see Mama. I want to help.
You want Mama to help?
Yeah.
What? Why am I old? Why does that stop me stirring the beans?
It is. I don't touch it.
I can't touch it.
It is. I can't touch it.
Oh. Is that because I'm not brave?
It is. You're not brave.
Because I'm not a big girl?
It is. So you're not a big girl.
Oh. Am I a big boy?
No. I big girl.
Yeah, I know. You're a big girl, yeah.
I just a girl.
Yeah, you're a girl. What, am I a girl?
No, you're a boy.
Yeah.
You're a boy.
Right.
It is. You're old.
Why am I old?
It is. You're not brave.
Because I'm not brave?
I know.
Excuse me. Why am I not brave?
It is. So you're not to that.
Oh. That's why I can't stir the beans.
No, let me help it down first. No, I'll go switch it. Okay?
Oh, we're going to share
look
it.
out,
Don't touch the metal because it will be hot, okay? Just be careful.
Like that?
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah. Can I hold this?
No, not yet.
No.
I
Do you want to hold that?
I'll hold that like that.
Oh, is that how you do it?
Yeah. Like Claire do it.
That's how Claire does it.
Yeah.
Do you do cooking at nursery?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you cook at nursery?
Also, what Mother said like chicken.
You like cooking?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
I need to help Mama.
You need to help Mama? Okay, right. Well, it was a nice chatting with you. And then on the more educational side, it was kind of, I think, this age, like when she was 3, that we really began to focus on like dedicated time that we'd spend trying to learn about like colours, shapes, numbers, that type of thing. And we like do it in like very fun game ways, but we really began to then like, oh, okay, let's try and focus on the language.
I do messy trays, so the messy trays all pink things, the other messy trays all blue things, and then I'd write the word. I mean, she can't read, but to try and be like, oh, this is pink, and this is a colour.
And like some of this is probably, you know, it's quite early. It's not really necessary to do a lot of educational stuff this early, but we're in terms of trying to encourage the language development. It seemed to work pretty well.
It did.
Again, we're not experts, but we're just telling you what we did.
And who knows? I feel guilty because Lola already hasn't had the same.
I know. With the second child, it's definitely not going to be the same.
Already at this point, I was taking Lily to the library regularly.
Yeah.
We were seeing stuff. I was sat reading books to her all the time. Like, Lola only gets read a book really at the moment when Lily's being read a book.
That's true, because at this age we used to read to Lily all the time.
Yeah, but I don't have the time to sit and read to her all the time.
Now you're making me feel guilty.
I know.
We're not reading to her as much.
We're not. I was reading the other day and I thought, oh, she really likes this book we're reading with Lily. And I thought, yeah, poor kid, because she never gets read to.
Oh, you're right. Oh, we really need to try and read more with her.
We do. But it's hard, isn't it? We don't have time.
It's hard, yeah. This is when,
I'll just hear us go into a depressive spin about how...
We have 2, but I don't know how you guys out there do it if you've got more than 2 kids.
Yeah.
Like, if you've got 3 or more.
Or does your effort level just go down?
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, sorry Lola. You'll listen to this one day.
It can't make too much difference because people are fine, aren't they?
Yeah, but there is a reason the firstborn's normally the most intelligent.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
I want to say it doesn't, but studies have proven, I feel like must be the reason firstborns are generally more intelligent.
Yeah.
Is because you spend a lot more time doing things with them.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to move our conversation onto the present day then. So we've got an almost 4-year-old and we're heading up to, like, as we've already mentioned, the kind of starting school phase. So there's probably a few things just to pick up around this age group as well with language. Obviously, we have like a chatty little friend now who we can have full-on conversations with.
It's nice. You can like take her out places and have a nice, like me and Lily went to the a ballet show. It was like Hansel and Gretel, but if anyone sees it, it's nothing like Hansel and Gretel. It has a rubbish monster that she loved.
So it was like Northern Ballet, was it, or something?
It was
it's
really
like
good,
a thing for
though.
kids, but
it was nice because it's not like having an adult with you, but it's having someone who can do really nice conversations and you can have a nice time and you can talk about things. And it's like having, like, I don't know, sometimes it's like having a young teenager with you. They can like hold a conversation well and you can have interesting conversations.
This is when I feel like it should be like a meme, like you like tell me you're a girl mum without telling me you're a girl mum. Like you took Lily to the ballet and you sat and had a lovely conversation with her.
Did.
Like probably some of the boy mums listening are going, what on earth is this?
And we went for like a little treat beforehand, and we had like went to a little Turkish cafe and we had like funny little pastry things and we were talking about, oh, isn't this nice? And I was explaining like, oh, well, it's from a different country. And she now knows there's a place called Turkey, which she sounds very funny because it's like the animal.
Yeah, this is what I said, like with words that have double meanings. I was having this challenge with like literally yesterday where we saw a bird in the sky. And I was like, oh, that's a red kite. And she was going, no, Daddy, that's not a kite. I was like, oh, yeah, well, I know it's not like a kite, like your kite. I was like, but the bird is called a red kite. And she was like, no,
it's a birdie.
I was like,
He's
okay.
so silly.
Okay.
No, we had this. I was telling my sister the other day at Christmas, there's a card that said Noel. And Lily kept saying, what does it say? And I said, no L. And she was going, no, there is an L. It's at the end. And I remember
I feel like this could be like a fabulous joke to actually do on a card.
And I'm not kidding. We took about 10 minutes till I finally decided. I went, oh, it says Christmas.
Just lie to her.
And she went, oh, okay.
It's true. She
because
can't
I was
really
like,
read yet.
we're clearly not getting forward with the Noel thing.
Yeah.
And I kept being like, well, it means Christmas in a language. No, it has an L. And I was like, I don't know how we can keep having this conversation. So then I went, oh, it says Christmas. And she went, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then she was happy.
Great.
And I thought, why did I bother going through that torturous period of saying Noel?
Yeah.
Just...
This is it. She's a bit pedantic now. And
she is.
What that means is actually, you know, the kind of the sad phase we're losing is some of the cute expressions, you know, she's actually developed out of them. So like the funny things toddlers sometimes say because they don't know how to pronounce a word or like, you know, and we find really cute. But like she's grown out of a lot of that where she's very pedantic and she's like, no, this is how it's said. You say it properly. I'm like, oh, but it was so cute when you used to say it like this.
True. Oh, but she still has some odd, like, pronunciation.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's going to be fascinating. We've said this for a while. Obviously, the area you are, like grow up in and are raised will have a big impact, like the external impact. But for us, one of us is northern and one of us is southern. And we do pronounce words differently. It'll be interesting to see what Lily does with it. Like
at the minute, she often just says both.
Yeah.
Like, although it is funny, if you go, do you say it like mummy or daddy? She'll always say she says it like mummy because she likes the idea that she says it like mummy.
She wants to say it like you, yeah.
But I always find in practice she just alternates. Well, she was funny when we went to the doctor. Mm-hmm. So Lola got her jabs.
Yeah.
Her final ones, if you heard about that story, it's a mess. Anyway.
Separate conversation.
Yeah. And he was saying to the woman, oh, can we have a plaster afterwards for her thing? And the woman said, oh, of course. But the woman called it a plaster. Oh. And Lily, we went to it. No, that's not how you say it.
So what I mean, she's quite pedantic. Go around correcting people.
But it was funny though, because Lily kind of let her say it about 3 times. And I think the 3rd time Lily was like, I can't let this go on.
I'm not standing anymore.
I'm going to have to tell her. And the woman found it really funny, thankfully. And she was like, oh, is that not how you say it? And she was like, no, it's plaster.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm so sorry. But no, she found it funny, luckily.
I suppose also then that's kind of similar to like not something we have particularly, but like we've got friends and things that are either in Wales and there's like multiple languages, or we've got lots of friends and family who have bilingual partners, or family with multiple languages in the family. So like really interesting, like not something we can really get into here, but like part of the speech development conversation about if you have multiple languages, what that looks like.
Yeah, true.
Really interesting. I suppose that's more your area, being someone who does speak multiple languages.
Yeah, but I didn't learn in a bilingual household. I've learned it would be much nicer if you could learn in a bilingual household, because it'd be quicker. At this point is when you start having to be careful what you say around your child.
In what way?
Because Lily will repeat things to other people.
Oh, so not necessarily like beyond just the mimicking of like swear words and things that you need to be very careful of, but actually like whole concepts and conversations.
She gleans information quite a lot.
Yeah.
Which means if you want a good gossip about someone, you can't.
You can no longer just like talk over their heads about situations and things going on that for us, we're like, well, this is just a private conversation in our house.
Yes.
But Lily will hear it, and we might not realise she's heard it or understood, and then go and tell other people.
Yeah, tell everyone at preschool, probably.
I mean, we've mentioned this in some of our episodes about pregnancy, haven't we? Because this was the main driving factor why we didn't tell Lily for ages that we were expecting another
because
baby.
She's not good at keeping
We
a
didn't tell Lily the name.
Yeah.
Because again, we knew she would just go and gossip and tell everyone.
She would.
Yeah.
She's not one to keep a secret.
Yeah. Equally though, we've not met everyone at nursery or the parents, but we know a lot about what's going on in a lot of her friends' families' lives.
Oh yes.
They all gossip together at preschool, and they come home and tell us. It's
like Lily goes, "Oh yeah, so and so's mummy, she doesn't work. So and so's mummy does work. So and so's got a baby. So and so's going to have a baby." I'm like, really? You've got all the gossip.
Yes. I'm like, I wonder what she's telling other people. Well, what do other people know about us?
I think she definitely says I don't work, because obviously I'm with Laura at the minute, and I don't, like, while I'm on maternity. So it's very, I remember saying, I work, and she went, not anymore. And I was like, well, yeah, but mummy will work again. Yeah. And she was going, no.
Okay, flip side of this conversation, though, also the age where kids start to lie.
True.
So, like, we don't have an awful lot of this, but we've definitely had situations where she's gone into preschool and told them things, and they've come and questioned us, and we're like, that is just not true.
Yeah, no. So at one point, she told everybody that the baby would also be called Lily, which, I mean, they knew it wouldn't be, but they found it very funny.
Yeah.
She also told them at one point the baby had been born. The baby'd come out yesterday, and once again, it was called Lily.
Yeah.
So thing. And I remember they saw me, and I clearly looked very pregnant, and they were like, so you haven't had the baby yet? I was like, no.
Yeah. This could be a whole other conversation. We kind of veered off a little bit from the actual speech development, but yeah. Maybe we'll cover it again another time. Last little bit to cover then. I really do want us to touch a little bit on, as we approach school, some of the stuff with how our education system approaches teaching language. Because already, like, we know that, like, phonics is coming up, and that will be a big focus.
Yeah, and I don't hate it. I just feel like we teach children that a rule's true and it's not. So we're like, oh, that's the rule for all words. And I'm like, it's not the rule for all words.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any expertise in this. I can't talk about it like you can, but I can, from experience, say, like, in the past 3 or 4 months, I have been making an effort here and there to do phonics with Lily, in preparation for school and just, in her development. But so often I go to try and do it, and I'm like, that word doesn't fit that rule. That doesn't work.
Yeah.
This word, that doesn't sound like that. Even in her own name, like the y in Lily, like
Lily
is different.
Yes, because at the start of a thing, it's y, like yes.
Yeah.
And the N is like E.
And that's the phonic, isn't it? When we talk about the letter, it's the letter Y.
They should teach you, like, eventually with advanced phonics, they should teach you that it changes.
Right. And that's the problem, isn't it?
Well,
they kind of teach you, like, well, this is the phonic, and that's how it's going to sound in all words. And it's like, well, it's not, though.
Well, this is. I'm just a big advocate for reading, because I think the more words children come across, the more they learn generally how they're pronounced. And then, yeah, they can learn phonics and it can be a help. But it means they're not relying solely on one way of understanding words.
I mean,
they will
it
have
is.
experience with other ones.
It's one way to teach language, isn't it?
Yeah.
And, maybe it's the best way. I don't know. Like, maybe it is. But it is
just feel
it's
like
one option.
Variety helps.
Yeah.
So if one way doesn't work, you've got another thing to fall back on.
Yeah. I feel like we're going to fall out with school over this.
Maybe. I feel like she's got under good enough grounding. She probably won't need.
Well, that's true.
That
That's
much
true.
help.
But I feel sorry for like little kids if they are struggling with phonics and schools are being really pedantic about the fact for them to need to learn. I remember as a dyslexic little kid, I really struggled with phonics, like up until like quite a late age. And they were like, but you need to know this. And I was like, why? I can talk. We're veering off into like the education stuff now, which you can listen to all of our moany thoughts about in our episode on Flexi-Schooling. So yeah, just go scroll back a bit and you can find our episode where we talk all about that.
Guys can't see, but she's desperately trying to get this microphone.
Lola's desperately trying to grab the microphone, so we're going to have to close things up.
Do you want to say anything? No?
Hi Lola, how you doing? Do you have any thoughts about language and school? You can't say anything yet, other than blow raspberries at people.
Blow raspberries.
Would you like to blow a raspberry for the podcast listeners?
You go. She's looking at me like I'm not a performing monkey.
Yes, there we are.
Don't grab it. Daddy says it'll make a loud noise. Not for you, but on the podcast.
Yes, you won't hear it, but on the podcast they'll hear little noises.
She has touched it.
Well, thank you for joining us in the blanket fort today, for joining the Crippins on chatting about
Chatting about the
chatting, and we'll be back next time to talk about a new topic.
Yeah. Bye.
Go have a dodo, enjoy your time with your kids.
Once
for
again,
another
that
episode.
farting isn't me.
Lola, excuse me. Mama, what do you think you're doing over there? God bless, sleep well,